If you don't like mysteries but love epics, then join us on this journey around the world into many companies, places, and people we've grown to love. This is where stories become legends. Today, we're going to talk about the origins of the United States of America elections.
The United States presidential election stands as a cornerstone of American democracy. It embodies the principle of a government by and for the people. Every 4 years, citizens have the power to choose their leader. This process determines the direction of the nation. It is a testament to the enduring legacy of the Founding Fathers. They envisioned a system where power rests in the hands of the electorate. From the very first election in 1789, the presidency has held a unique position in the world. The peaceful transfer of power from one leader to the next is a hallmark of American governance. It is a tradition that has weathered numerous challenges and triumphs throughout the nation's history. Understanding the evolution of this process is crucial for appreciating its significance in today's world. The narrative of American presidential elections is a tapestry woven from threads of triumph, tribulation, and transformation. It is a story of how a nation grapples with its identity, its values, and its vision for the future. As we trace the evolution of this process, we gain a deeper understanding of the forces that have shaped the nation. From the expansion of suffrage to the rise of mass media, each chapter in this story reveals how the presidency has both reflected and influenced American society. The very act of choosing a leader reflects the hopes, anxieties, and aspirations of the electorate. It is a process that lays bare the soul of the nation. The story of U.S. presidential elections is not merely a recounting of names and dates, it is a testament to the power of the people to shape their own destiny. It is a reminder that the journey of democracy is an ongoing process, one that demands constant vigilance and active participation. By engaging in informed dialogue, critically evaluating the options, and participating in the electoral process, we honor the legacy of those who came before us and shape the destiny of generations to come. The year 2024 marks another pivotal chapter in the ongoing saga of American democracy. The decisions made by voters in this election will have far-reaching consequences. They will shape the nation's course on both domestic and global stages. This essay will provide a balanced analysis of the potential impact of this year's election results. We will explore the implications for key policy areas, the balance of power in government, and the future direction of the country. Ultimately, the aim of this exploration is not to predict the future. It is to illuminate the present. By understanding the historical forces, the current political landscape, and the choices before us, we as citizens are better equipped to fulfill our democratic duty. The power to choose rests with the people. This essay serves as a guide, a resource, and a call to action. By engaging in informed dialogue, critically evaluating the options, and participating in the electoral process, we honor the legacy of those who came before us and shape the destiny of generations to come. In the aftermath of a hard-won revolution, the United States embarked on a daring experiment, a government based on the consent of the governed. The year was 1789, and the ink was barely dry on the Constitution. At its heart lay the concept of a president, an elected leader with executive power. The first presidential election marked the transition to a more unified federal government. The Founding Fathers sought to balance a strong executive with their fear of tyranny. The Electoral College ensured the president was chosen by electors, not a direct popular vote. Section 2. A contest of visionaries. The inaugural presidential election of 1789 pitted George Washington against John Adams. Washington, admired for his leadership, was the favorite. The nation was divided on key issues. Federalists, led by Hamilton, favored a strong central government. Democratic Republicans, led by Jefferson, advocated for states' rights. These visions shaped the political landscape. The election process was different from today. Candidates relied on letters, pamphlets, and speeches. The Electoral College reflected elitist sensibilities. The 1789 contest established the precedent for a peaceful transition of power. Section 3. The Electoral College, a founding compromise. The Electoral College, a system that has both fascinated and frustrated observers, stands as a testament to the compromises forged during the Constitutional Convention of 1787. The Founding Fathers grappled with balancing state interests with a unified nation. The decision to adopt an electoral college system was driven by several factors. Some delegates, wary of mob rule, believed an intermediary body of electors would check the electorate's passions. Others saw it as a necessary concession to smaller states. Each state is allocated electors equal to its representation in Congress. The candidate with a majority of electoral votes wins the presidency. This system has been the subject of ongoing debate and reform efforts. Section 4. The rise of political parties. Ideological differences emerged within George Washington's cabinet, notably between Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson. Hamilton advocated for a strong federal government, while Jefferson championed a more agrarian society. These visions gave rise to the Federalist Party and the Democratic-Republican Party. In 1796, as George Washington prepared to step down after 2 terms as president, the nation braced itself for its first true test of the peaceful transfer of power. The election of 1796, unlike its predecessor, was a fiercely contested affair, with the Federalists and Democratic Republicans vying for control of the presidency. John Adams, Washington's vice president and the Federalist nominee, faced off against Thomas Jefferson, the standard-bearer for the Democratic Republicans. The campaign was marked by bitter personal attacks and accusations of foreign interference, foreshadowing the partisan rancor that would characterize future elections. When the dust settled, Adams emerged victorious, albeit by a narrow margin. However, in a twist of fate that reflected the unique nature of the electoral college system, Jefferson, his chief rival, ended up as his vice president. This outcome, though potentially awkward, underscored the framers' intent to foster a degree of cooperation and balance within the executive branch. More importantly, Washington's decision to step down after 2 terms, coupled with the peaceful transition of power to Adams, established a critical precedent for the young republic. It demonstrated that power could be transferred peacefully and democratically, even in the face of intense political divisions. This legacy of peaceful transitions would become a hallmark of American democracy, setting it apart from many other nations throughout history. The election of Andrew Jackson in 1828 marked a turning point in American political history. Jackson, a war hero and populist, championed the rights of the common man and expanded suffrage. His presidency challenged the elites and reshaped the relationship between the people and their government. Jackson's rise coincided with significant social and economic change. Westward expansion and industrialization created new opportunities and tensions. Jackson appealed to farmers, laborers, and small business owners. The era saw the expansion of suffrage to all white men, increasing the electorate. Jackson's presidency also saw the rise of the spoils system, democratizing access to power. The issue of slavery erupted in the mid-19th century. Lincoln's 1860 election led to Southern secession and the Civil War. His victory highlighted the North's anti-slavery strength, but it also exposed deep national divisions. The Civil War tested American democracy. Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation. Post-war Reconstruction aimed to rebuild the South and integrate freed slaves. The 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments transformed the Constitution. The late 19th and early 20th centuries witnessed a wave of social and political reform known as the Progressive Era. Progressives, concerned about the excesses of industrialization, political corruption, and social inequality, sought to use the power of government to address these issues. One of the most significant achievements of the Progressive Era was the expansion of suffrage to women. The women's suffrage movement, which had been gaining momentum for decades, finally achieved its goal in 1920 with the passage of the 19th Amendment to the Constitution. This landmark victory doubled the size of the electorate and gave women a voice in the political process for the first time in American history. The Progressive Era also saw reforms aimed at making elections more democratic and transparent. The introduction of the secret ballot, for example, helped to reduce voter intimidation and fraud. Additionally, the adoption of direct primaries in many states gave voters a greater say in choosing their party's nominees, weakening the power of party bosses. The Progressive Era left an indelible mark on American democracy, expanding the franchise, curbing the power of special interests, and strengthening the role of government in addressing social and economic problems. The reforms of this era laid the foundation for the modern welfare state and helped to create a more inclusive and participatory democracy. The 20th century witnessed a dramatic transformation in the nature of presidential elections, driven by technological advancements, social change, and the growing influence of mass media. The rise of radio, television, and later the internet fundamentally altered the way candidates communicated with voters, allowing them to reach vast audiences directly. The increasing importance of mass media in presidential campaigns led to a greater emphasis on image and personality over policy specifics. Candidates became increasingly skilled at crafting their public personas and using the media to their advantage. The rise of television in particular ushered in an era of image-driven politics, where a candidate's appearance and demeanor could be as important as their policy positions. Another defining feature of modern presidential elections has been the escalating cost of campaigning. The need to purchase expensive television advertising, hire large campaign staffs, and conduct sophisticated polling operations created a system in which money played an increasingly important role. In recent decades, American politics has become increasingly polarized, with the two major parties moving further apart ideologically. This polarization has manifested itself in increasingly divisive campaigns, partisan gridlock in government, and a decline in civility within the political sphere. The rise of social media, while providing new avenues for political engagement, has also contributed to the spread of misinformation and the amplification of extreme voices. As the curtain rises on the 2024 presidential election, the United States finds itself at a pivotal juncture. The political landscape is polarized, the economy is uncertain, and the global order is in flux. The American people are preparing to choose their next leader, a decision with profound implications. The election comes at a time of heightened partisan division. Political discourse is often acrimonious, leaving many disillusioned. The economy is a source of both anxiety and opportunity. Inflation remains high, and supply chain disruptions create uncertainty. The gap between the wealthy and the poor continues to widen. On the global stage, the United States faces a complex array of challenges. In this environment, the American people are looking for leadership and vision. The running candidate. A president facing headwinds. Ex-President Trump, a Republican who assumed office in 2017, is seeking re-election amidst a challenging political landscape. The ex-president's presidency has been marked by both accomplishments and setbacks, leaving voters with a mixed record to assess as they head to the polls. On the domestic front, ex-President Trump can point to a number of achievements. However, these successes have been overshadowed by a number of challenges such as inflation, crime rates, or partisan gridlock. The running candidate's handling of foreign policy has also drawn both praise and criticism. Supporters point to the America First policy. Trump's administration reevaluated many of the U.S.'s prior multinational commitments, including withdrawing from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, the INF Treaty, the UNHRC and UNESCO, and the Paris Agreement, and urging NATO allies to increase financial burden sharing as evidence of the president's strong leadership on the world stage. Critics, however, argue that some of his policies demonstrate a lack of strategic vision and have damaged America's standing in the world. As the running candidate seeks a second term, he faces an uphill battle for re-election. The political climate is polarized, the economy is uncertain, and the electorate is divided. The president's ability to articulate a clear vision for the future, address the concerns of voters, and mobilize his base will be crucial to his chances of victory. The challenger, a familiar face with a reform agenda. Challenging the ex-president is the current Vice President Kamala Harris, who is a Democrat from California, who's arguing that a change in leadership is needed to restore America's economy and standing in the world and moral compass, who are eager to see a change in direction after 4 years of Republican control of the White House, who are likely to play a decisive role in the election. However, Harris also faces challenges, and convince voters that she possesses the experience and temperament to lead the nation. Harris' ability to effectively communicate her vision, withstand the scrutiny of a national campaign, and mobilize a winning coalition of voters will ultimately determine the outcome of the election. Section 4. The Issues, a battleground of competing visions. The 2024 presidential election is shaping up to be a battle of ideas, with the two major candidates offering starkly different visions for the future of the country. From the economy to healthcare to climate change, the issues at stake in this election are both numerous and consequential. The economy is likely to be a central issue in the campaign. The ex-president will likely tout his administration's record on job creation and economic growth, while Vice President Harris will likely focus on the rising cost of living and the need for policies to address income inequality. Healthcare is another issue that divides the candidates. Ex-President Trump may highlight his efforts to improve the Affordable Care Act or promote alternative healthcare models, while Vice President Harris may advocate for a more fundamental reform of the healthcare system, such as a single-payer system. Climate change is also expected to be a major point of contention in the election. The ex-president may defend his administration's environmental record, while Vice President Harris may call for more aggressive action to address climate change, such as investing in renewable energy or rejoining international agreements. The stakes for the Democrats: a balancing act. Retaining control of the White House in 2024 is a significant challenge. They must balance the demands of their progressive base with the need to appeal to moderates. Failure to strike this balance could have far-reaching consequences. A Democratic victory would embolden the party's progressive wing, leading to a more ambitious legislative agenda on climate change, healthcare, and income inequality. However, it could also exacerbate existing partisan divisions. The ability to compromise and build consensus will be paramount. The stakes for the Democrats are high. The outcome of the 2024 election will profoundly impact their ability to shape the nation's future. The Republican crossroads: navigating a divided front. The Republican Party enters the 2024 election at a crossroads, grappling with internal divisions. Its ability to appeal to a broader electorate will be crucial. A Republican victory would likely usher in significant policy change, focusing on tax cuts, deregulation, and a conservative approach to social issues. It could also lead to a more assertive foreign policy, emphasizing military strength. However, a Republican win could exacerbate societal divisions, particularly on immigration, race, and abortion. The party's ability to govern effectively will depend on moving beyond divisive rhetoric. The choices made in 2024 will have a lasting impact on its future and the nation. The economy: a pivotal battleground. The state of the economy is likely to be a pivotal issue in the 2024 presidential election. Voters seek a leader who can address rising costs, job security, and economic health. The Republican Party will tout job growth and stock market performance, but must address inflation and income inequality. The challenger will focus on economic anxieties, healthcare, housing, and education costs. The election's outcome will significantly impact economic policy direction. The 2024 election will be a referendum on social issues like abortion rights, gun control, and LGBTQ+ rights. Abortion rights will be contentious after the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. Democrats will campaign to codify abortion rights, while Republicans will support restrictions. Gun control divides the parties. Democrats want stricter measures. Republicans emphasize Second Amendment rights. LGBTQ+ rights will also be a key issue, with Democrats supporting equality and Republicans focusing on religious freedom. These debates reflect the ongoing struggle for equality in America. The 2024 election offers voters a choice between competing visions for America's role in the world. In an era of global instability, foreign policy will play a prominent role. The incumbent party will highlight its experience on the world stage. They argue their leadership is needed to navigate a complex world. The challenger may criticize the incumbent's handling of foreign policy. They may propose a more isolationist approach. The election outcome could significantly impact America's global relationships. The 2024 presidential election will unfold under the long shadow of the 2020 election, an event that shook the foundations of American democracy. The spread of misinformation and disinformation has sown doubt in the minds of many Americans. Addressing this crisis of trust will require a multifaceted approach. social media companies must combat misinformation, while citizens engage in critical thinking and media literacy. Rebuilding trust in American democracy will require a collective effort. The 2024 election is significant for young Americans, poised to shape the nation's future. Millennials and Gen Z, the largest generations, will impact the political landscape. Young voters are diverse, tech-savvy, and concerned about climate change, social justice, and economic inequality. They are more likely to be politically independent, open to fresh ideas. Candidates must address affordable healthcare, student loan debt relief, and climate change. Connecting with young voters requires social media and authentic messaging. The power of the youth vote should not be underestimated. Young people can transform American politics with fresh perspectives and a commitment to justice. The 2024 presidential election will take place against a backdrop of deep partisan division, fueled by political polarization and social media echo chambers. This division threatens American democracy. Bridging this chasm requires effort from both officials and citizens. Officials must lead by example, seeking common ground. Citizens must engage in respectful dialogue and resist social media echo chambers. Healing the divide requires rediscovering shared values and a commitment to the common good. The 2024 election will test our ability to unite as a nation. The outcome of the 2024 presidential election will have profound implications for the world. America's actions and policies shape the international order and influence billions. Allies and adversaries will watch closely for clues about American foreign policy. A change in administration could shift priorities and approaches to global challenges. The world is at a crossroads, facing challenges that require global cooperation and American leadership. Shaping the future of democracy, the 2024 election is pivotal. It's a moment to reflect on our democracy and chart a course for a more perfect union. The decisions we make will shape our country for generations. Will we choose unity and progress, or division and dysfunction? The future of American democracy rests in our hands. The weight of choice, a pivotal election. As we stand on the precipice of the 2024 presidential election, the weight of choice rests heavily upon the American people. The decisions made in November will reverberate far beyond the halls of power. We are a nation grappling with complex challenges: a polarized electorate, economic uncertainty, social unrest, and a rapidly changing world order. The year 2024 presents an opportunity to confront these challenges head-on. Will we rise above partisanship and embrace a spirit of unity and common purpose? The weight of this choice is immense, but so too is the potential for progress. Beyond partisanship, the call for unity and progress. The challenges confronting our nation are too great to be held hostage by partisan gridlock. This election must be about finding common ground and working together for a brighter future. Engage in debates with civility and mutual respect, united by a common destiny. The 2024 election is an opportunity to embrace a hopeful and inclusive vision for our nation. By coming together as one nation, we can build a brighter future for generations to come. Safeguarding democracy for future generations. The United States is founded on the idea that government derives its powers from the consent of the governed. It has inspired generations yearning for freedom, justice, and self-determination. Democracy requires active participation and vigilance. The 2024 election reminds us that democracy must be earned anew. Let us honor those who fought for liberty by voting and engaging in citizenship. Ensure this chapter is marked by wisdom, courage, and commitment to equality. Stand up, take action, and safeguard our democracy for the generations to come. Your voice matters, your vote counts. Together, we can build a future where freedom and justice prevail. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. Also, if you have any suggestions for a future video, put a comment below.
Whoa, hold up just a second. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.